Hi, Mike here. Welcome to my Facebook ads tutorial. This one is a little bit longer than most of my other videos that I'll be posting and have posted. This is actually from a live webinar that I hosted last year. Now, Facebook makes changes every single, if you want, almost every other week. So some of the items or steps might look a little bit different, but the overall principle in creating your Facebook lead generation ad is the exact same. And you know what? As soon as you publish your ad, you'll have leads coming in within a couple of hours, I guarantee it. And you know, it doesn't matter what you're using this for. Originally, this particular video was made for real estate agents, but you can use it for any business, in any avenue, anything that you actually do, right? So hopefully this helps. Enjoy and have a watch. All right, let's go. You're here, I'm here this morning. Hopefully you're doing well. Let me start with that, with everything that's going on. Thanks for attending. So let's get going. There's a couple of things too. You know what, I could jump in right now and just say, hey, you know what, here's the ad. I guarantee it'll get you leads. I use it for helping a couple other realtors too. So a couple of them out towards the Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville area. I know it works. I've been using it for about the past year and a half or so. If you run it tonight, depending on, you know, it's not free. Obviously, you could spend $5 on it for the price of a cup of coffee. I could show you the ad right now. It will get you leads. I guarantee you that. It's just a matter of like, what do you do with those leads, right? So yeah, I could show you the ad and hey, good luck. See you later. Thanks for, you know, signing in. But that's not me. So I need you to understand a couple of things before I get into the actual ad. I will show it to you. Don't worry, step by step. So here's what I want to go with you through with you this morning. Yeah, I have a plan and I have an agenda with you, but you know what? I like to veer away from it. So I'm going to stay on track too, but there's a ton of information that I want to share with you. But really what I want to go through is, yes, I'll show you your Facebook ad. And like I said, you can run it by lunchtime if you want to. And by later on this evening, you'll have leads, especially with everything that's going on now. Everyone's home, and a lot of them are on their computers, right? So focusing on what you're actually doing and how you're doing it, grabbing the right people, obviously. And I'll show you what I actually mean by that, more those that are actually on Facebook platform. And you know what to do and what not to do. The reason why I left a line blank there on the bottom is actually for you, if you wanted to, you can actually write this down if you have a pen and paper right now, is really, what are you hoping to get out of this webinar? So I've met a lot of people. I've seen what they do as well. Used to host marketing workshops, a lot of them. So I've seen what to do and what not to do. And that's really what I want to share with you. Okay. And again, I don't have a magical system for you. There is no magical system in anything. But it's just a matter of applying basics, right? And just being consistent. I think that's the one word that I'm going to hammer away at you on this webinar is consistency in everything that you do, especially when it comes to marketing too. Even if you're like blasting out feature sheets, for example, you're printing off postcards, door knockers, website, email, everything, make sure you're consistent with your branding, right? Don't confuse people, because if you start having different colors and different, different lettering, everything's different, then they're not going to know it's you. If you've ever taken, let's say, some courses, maybe in your office or even marketing courses, depending on your background, where you come from, you know those funnels that you see people talking about and showing you funnels, like an upside down triangle type of thing, at the top, and even in retail, like people walk into the store and they browse, and then at the end, it's like, you got your customer, right? Well, that's kind of what this is. I just put circles. So understand this. I'm not going to go through the other ones, the other three, but there's one that's highlighted. It's the interest stage. There's 4 different types of customers here, okay, or leads if you want to. So the one you're dealing with on Facebook is the first one, interest. It's probably the most difficult to grab, because once you got the other 2 or 3, I mean, you're done, you're set, right? So you're dealing with, I'm going to call them tire kickers, lack of a better word, right? You've dealt with them, right? Hey, just wondering how much are the taxes, what's the square footage, and you never hear from them again. But that's in part to sometimes the realtor's fault too, is not following up with them, or not following up correctly. Okay, so these are the ones that are just browsing. They don't want to talk to you. I need you to understand this. I can't stress this enough. And I've held this workshop in the past across the country too. And you know what? It goes back to, let me just flip back to that screen, this, where I ask is like, oh, so what do you think you should write here? And everyone's saying, oh, you put your phone number so they can contact you. Nobody wants to talk to you. I need you to understand that, right? So those people that are in the interest stage, and those are the ones that are actually browsing on Facebook, you need to be careful with them. But there's a way to actually, again, a lack of a better word, massage, if you want to, these people to come to you. Okay, so you want to give them a little bit of information, but there's a way to do it. Okay, so they're tire kickers, let's call them that. They're not ready to talk to anybody. But again, the best way to actually build trust is you're going to give them information. Okay, and the more information you actually give them, the better. So instead of me flipping through this, let me actually go live then. Okay, so once you have your business page on Facebook, like I said, I'm going to zoom through this, take notes, okay, but you'll have access to this recording. So there's a couple of different ways you can actually access ads. The more complicated way is actually if you go click on the little arrow up here at the top right-hand side of your screen, and you scroll down and you go to manage ads, right? That's actually going to get you into the business section of your Facebook. The easiest way is just here up at the top. And again, Facebook is, I noticed, is running out again. They're always updating, so let's not even start with that. But they're running about 3 different versions right now. And now you might have noticed too, I don't know if you guys actually have this, but if you click on this, you can actually switch here to the new Facebook. And I switched to it. I don't like it. I kind of flip back to the old version. But again, easiest way to get to your ads is click on create up here, or the ad section, click on create, and you scroll down to you want to create an ad. Once you get to the creation part, so one thing you need to understand here, these are 3 different types of customers, right? 3 different columns, 3 different types of ads. So awareness is like a newspaper ad. I don't know if you ever run newspaper ads, yes or no, perhaps. But newspaper ads, again, expensive, number one, right? If you've ever run them, I think, what is it? Anywhere from $150 for a small little tiny 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter ad to even $300. Newspaper ads, flyers, etc. So this is kind of a one-way communication is what this is, awareness, this section, right? It's like, hey, here I am, or here's a listing, and that's it. Don't expect any interaction on that. It's just like a FYI. So if you have a bit of a budget for actually running this or this type of ad, I'm just going to turn off the video here just because it's taking up a bit of my bandwidth. Then you can run this, just, hey, FYI. I mean, that's a different kind of strategy you can take to run something for about, $25 if you want to, $20, $10, whatever the case is. Just, hey, here I am. And there you can reach about probably 5 to 8,000, 10,000 people, depending on your budget. That's just a quick little FYI. It's like a postcard, for example, in somebody's mailbox. Consideration. Those are your potential buyers and sellers who are actually looking to buy or sell. Okay, and again, that's where you get the tire kickers as well. Out of this one, I know you probably think, oh, we're going to go into lead generation. It's the last one I would ever choose. I've run ads under lead generation. I don't like them, and maybe you've seen them or experienced them as well. When you click on something, let's say on Facebook, it's an ad, and you click on it, and a form pops up, and it already has your name in it from Facebook, right? And your email address sometimes. It's just asking you for maybe 1 or 2 other pieces of information, and that's actually sent then to the person running the ad or the realtor. What do you do with that usually, is my question to you. When you see a form pop up and it already has your name in it and your email, what do? I'm pretty sure you close it. Or I do, at least, right? I don't want to share that, which is kind of ironic because you're already on Facebook. They see who you are, right? Your profile, your name is already there. But again, I haven't had any success or luck, and the realtors that I've actually shared this strategy and ad with, the ones that are actually doing quite well from this ad, they've had 0 success with lead generation as well. But again, I'm not saying it doesn't work if that's what you're doing. If it is work, I'd love to know how it's working for you. But it's just I've never had success with it. So we're actually going to choose traffic from here, right? And by the way, the last column are those of your potential buyers and sellers. Actually, not even potential buyers and sellers. They are buyers and sellers, mainly sellers who are looking to buy or sell right now. Okay, but again, those people actually have their checkbook out, the buyers, and you're thinking, well, those are the people that I actually want. But to get these people, number one, you need a little bit of experience on here, on this platform. But number 2 is you actually, these would be retargeting. So I can show you that too if we don't run out of time in terms of, I promised pixels, right? That's where you would retarget. So there's a way to convert these leads as well. Okay, but it's a little bit more difficult than just like, hey, are you looking to buy or sell or something right now? So stick with this column. Traffic is the one that I'm actually going to be looking for. Okay, and if you scroll down, nothing too complicated. All you need to do pretty much is give it a name. Okay, we can call it our spring leads if you want to, or you can call it your area, your city, whatever the case is. And crap, I just realized I'm in the wrong account. So let me just, switch here quickly. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Sorry, I just need to switch accounts. Okay, we'll reload that. Okay, give me 2 seconds for this. I'm kind of curious, how are you guys doing with internet too? Like my bandwidth kind of comes and goes depending on, like right now it's 9:30 Eastern, and I think a lot of people are waking up too if they're kind of lagging. They're not early risers like you guys, but the internet kind of craps out a little bit or slows down, especially later on. So thanks for your patience. Just give me a second here. It's going to reload and then. Okay, so I'm going to go back to traffic. Sorry, I just had to switch account. I got a couple different accounts going here. So a couple different accounts that I actually use. You can give this a name. Okay, again, let me go back here. Call it, you can call it your city, area, spring leads, whatever you want. Month, okay, and then click on continue. Okay. And by the way, the leads that are actually going to be coming in, regardless of, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second here, it's Facebook likes to direct you. And I'm actually going to show you how do you squeeze every single penny out of this platform. I think you're going to like it. Facebook loves to take your money. You know what? I'm going to show you how to take their money. I've spent, especially probably in the past, I'd say 6 to 8 months, a little over $13,000, I would say, on ads. And you might sound like think that's a lot. It's actually not. It adds up really quickly, right? $20 here, $100 there, whatever the case is. But I'm going to show you how do you squeeze every single penny out of this platform. And like I said, they like to suggest like you click on this and click on that, but I'm going to tell you exactly what to click on or show you. Okay, so this is asking basically, where do you want people to go? Just think of this here on the left-hand side of your, and again, if you're on a tablet, again, I suggest if you can get yourself to, depending on the type of tablet that you have, some of them are actually great because they work exactly like a laptop. Like I have a Surface Pro here and it's fantastic because it could be a tablet and a laptop. But again, some of the options, if you're wondering, well, how come I don't see that? And the reason why is because, again, you might be on the app version of this platform, right? But here on the left-hand side, it's divided into 3 different sections if you want to, right? So we already did the campaign. We're actually now choosing like, you know, how much do I want to spend? Who do you want to target? So we're going to choose Messenger here. Okay. And what I mean by that is anybody clicking on our ad is actually going to pop up in Facebook Messenger. Okay. And that's what we want. These are leads. You need to understand something too. These are people who are active. They're passive ads, but these are people that are sitting right there in front of their computer right then. So you want to grab them quickly. This is what I meant by, you know, how long do you think it takes realtors or even some businesses to reply? And it takes way too long. If you can actually, you know, let's say you're out driving one day and you see your phone pops up and there's this lead asking you about, hey, can I get some more information on this property? Stop your car if you can. Just pull off to the side and reply to those. I told you, if you're looking at what's going to set yourself apart in real estate, and I've seen this across the country, and it doesn't matter if it's Royal LePage or if it's just any other Coldwell, Remax, you know, Keller Williams, whatever, it's going to be response time. That's it. It's not going to be the colors on your, you know, feature sheet and your branding and your business cards. I guarantee you it's not. It's going to be how quickly do you actually get back and reply to. And have you ever called somebody back and they actually said and thanked you, say, oh my God, like, thanks for getting back to me so quickly, right? There's a reason why they're actually mentioning that. Okay, so Messenger is what you're looking for. We're going to scroll down a bit. I'm not going to use a saved audience right now. Okay, but I'm going to show you in terms of targeting. So Canada, that's way too broad. Okay, let's get rid of that in terms of, and again, we're trying to get down or as close to somebody's front door as possible. Okay, and what I mean by that is, hey, knock, 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 I have a listing, or, you know, are you listing your property? So I'd ask you for an address, but here, let me just put one in. What you're going to do is you're actually going to start with the property. Now, if you don't have any listings right now, what I would suggest you do, or if you're new to the business as well, what you can do is ask somebody in your office, right? If you ever held an open house for somebody else in your office, I'm sure you have, or maybe you will. It's the same concept, right? You're still bringing the buyer. So I don't see why anybody would object to this, because again, when you're going into, let's say, your system, whether it's Treb or Matrix, when you print off feature sheets, I mean, whose name is on the bottom of that? It's yours, right? Even though it's maybe somebody else's listing. So it's the same concept. You can ask somebody in your office or team up with somebody and say, hey, do you mind if I promote your listing? I don't see why not, because again, you're the one who's paying for it. So, but just get permission. So I'm just going to put condo there in Oakville, Spears. Okay, so start with the property address, okay, in terms of the listing. And also you're thinking, well, I'm trying to get buyer leads. Well, yes, but you're also targeting those nosy sellers who are in the area. And what you do with this one is always shrink it down to the minimum. Okay, so in terms of kilometers, and you might have miles in here. I don't know. Again, that's kind of weird too, depending on who and what platform. Mine used to be in miles and it switched to kilometers. But anyway, whatever you have in terms of options here, kilometers or miles, again, shrink this down to the minimum. So make sure you put the slider to, whether it's 1 mile or 1 kilometer or X miles. Okay, so you're trying to get as close to somebody's front door to this property as possible. So this is the actual listing property first. And what you're doing here and what you see in this radius is you're targeting those nosy sellers who are actually living in this area too. And I'm pretty sure if you've held open houses, you've had the neighbors come over as well. It's kind of the same concept. And I'll show you something else afterwards too, another little strategy with this too. Okay, then from here, you need to put a little bit of thought into this. And it's a bit of a hard question, but who's actually going to buy this property? Okay, so this is, again, those 2 towers, condos, if you're familiar with Oakville. If not, that's okay too. But anyway, they're 2 condo towers, corner of Spears and Kerr Street. There's the Shoppers and a Food Basic across the street. So who's actually going to buy that condo, right? doesn't matter, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. So where are they coming from is more my question to you. Put some thought into this. Don't just sit down and say, oh, all of Toronto. And that's not how it actually works, right? So what you do is you'll add a couple of different cities. So you could add addresses too, but start with the city in terms of these. So these are your buyers. So remember, the first address is the seller, the actual listing. Shrink that down to 1 kilometer radius, and then who's actually going to buy this property, right? So let's put, sure, somebody's moving out from the city because that's way too expensive. But again, with this too, 40 kilometers, that's covering like way too much ground. Again, to squeeze every single penny out of this platform, always down to the minimum. Even that's like way too much. But again, that's all the system lets us do. If you think maybe somebody is moving from, I don't know, let's say north, Barrie. Barrie, Ontario too. So again, shrink this down to the actual minimum and put some thought into it. I mean, is it just local that's actually coming here? And I'll give you an example. So maybe you getting some, leads or some people inquiring, moving in from out west back to the east, right? Depending on what's going to happen and the economy and all that. I'm not saying Winnipeg, but maybe even Vancouver, etc. So this is really what your target. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, but you'll see in terms of what I mean. So it doesn't even have to be just local too. It could be other countries as well. I remember hosting this workshop out in Saskatchewan. They were saying, well, a lot of people coming from Asia and different Asian countries and maybe 1 or 2 European countries. So we targeted that as well, right? The actual cities. Okay, so don't go crazy with this. I'd say probably about maybe half a dozen maximum in terms of cities. So remember, these 3, Barrie, Toronto, Winnipeg, and who knows, maybe Oshawa, maybe if they're coming from London, Ontario, okay, those shrink it down to the closest radius possible. And those are going to be your potential buyers, and the very first address within 1 kilometer are your targeting. And it's also value to your seller, right? If your seller is on Facebook and they see like this popping up, because they will, I mean, if they're within, and again, you're choosing people living or recently in this location, that's what this actually is. By the way, have you ever traveled somewhere and you have these ads popping up and you're not even, you're not from there? Well, that's what this actually means, right? People who are actually in this location or traveling to this location, a lot of tourism boards, et cetera, do that, or a lot of companies do, hotels. That's how they're actually targeting you with this, right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, but keep your eye on the actual, here, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I was just checking something here. So keep your eye on this needle here on the right-hand side of your screen. Okay, you don't want this obviously to be all the way to far left. Again, if you're putting way too many targeting and add age, which we'll hit in just a minute too, and different demographics metrics, the closer you actually get, this needle might actually move to the left, which means that Facebook's not going to run because it's too narrow of an audience. And if it's too broad in terms, that's what I meant by like, hey, if you put all of Canada here type of thing, this needle might move to the right. So try to keep it in the middle in terms of, and again, have a look right now, just based on this, I can reach up to 3,700,000 people, right? And again, we're going to shrink this down too, because like I said, you want to squeeze every single penny out. This isn't a newspaper ad that you want to run here. So from here, in terms of age, because these are condos, fairly new, right? Who's actually going to buy this condo, do you think? Is it younger ones? And what's interesting is, like, I lived in that building, and it's a mix, right? Different ethnic nationalities, younger, older. So that's a tough question, but I'd say the average there would have been, just because of the price range, probably anywhere from 35 years of age and up, other than maybe the studio, but even those were expensive, right? It wasn't really a retirement condo, but again, you can go up to that. I'd probably go up to probably 62. But again, like I said, you can go 65 plus if you want to. I'm going to leave it at that too, because again, some retirees were there too. Okay, all genders, yes. So like I said, careful, just keep your eye on this needle. Make sure it's always in the middle. You noticed how now my reach has dropped down. It was in the thousands. Now it's down to from 4 to 12, right? And I'm still, based on my budget and other options that I'm going to check or check off, 49 to about 140 leads or so, or people that are going to be clicking on it. And they're not all going to be leads, but that's not too bad. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to worry about all the other options here. There's maybe one or two more languages I'm not going to worry about, but you can actually run ads, different languages, connections. Just keep your eye on that needle. This section I don't like. And the reason why is, like, Facebook's going to say, oh, let us take care of your ad. I don't like that, because they don't do a good job of actually distributing your ad. So we're going to choose manual, and we're actually going to tell Facebook where to put our ads. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to show you what I actually mean with it. So with this type of ad, what you're going to do is you're going to uncheck Instagram. Okay, and the reason why is this. There's a bit of text that actually goes into this ad. And if you're on Instagram, or you have an Instagram account, I mean, what's the difference between Facebook and Instagram, right? Instagram is photo, images, or image-based. And the text, which is actually going to be the teaser, which is going to grab people and get them to actually click on this ad, will fade away or won't even appear on Instagram, or they'd actually have to scroll all the way down, which again, a lot of people don't do, right? They just click on or look at the picture. So with this type of ad, you can run Instagram ads, but that's a different type of ad. It's less text, right? You can try it out if you want to, but again, I'm trying to show you how do you squeeze every single penny out of this platform. So I'll leave these two, Facebook Messenger and Facebook newsfeed, but uncheck Instagram for this type of ad. Okay, and you can run other ads similar to this, but then they'll be just photo based as well. And if you're wondering like what this actually means, well, you'll see here if you kind of hover over these, what this actually looks like. So newsfeed, stories as well, right? How this is actually going to appear in different stories, or the stories on Facebook as well. And you notice Instagram is not there. So we're going to scroll down. So we got that. This option you might have, you might not. I think you do. Again, Facebook is changing this every single freaking week almost. So if you don't have this option, or it's grayed out, don't panic, don't worry about it. But you should, in terms of like, when do you actually want to get charged for this, right? So if you're wondering what's the difference really, I'm not going to worry about daily unique reach for now, but impressions are, if you're ever sitting, at home and you're kind of browsing through, you're just sliding your finger on your phone and going through Facebook, scroll, 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 scroll. That's, even if my ad pops up and you don't stop on it, that's what an impression is really, right? Nobody has to stop and look at it. It just zoom by it. It just appeared. So it's an impression, and you'll get charged for it. Sorry. But that's not going to be super expensive. It might be just a few cents. But again, really, what's the point? Why are you getting charged for something that nobody's even like stopping and looking at? So you want to get charged when people actually click on your ads too. Okay, cost control, again, depending on your budget, but again, you don't have to worry about that. And start with $5, $10. But again,
have a look here on the right hand side. So if I put $10 now, obviously that's going to drop down to half, but you know what? That's my daily budget, and that's not bad for, 25 to 70. You'll probably get about 40. I'd say anywhere from 38 to 45, just based on my experience with $10. People clicking on this ad per day. That's pretty good. Think of the lead generation system that you use now. If you do use one, what do you do? Like, or what are you actually paying for? That's not too bad for $10 a day, or even if you want to go $5 a day, start small. Like, you don't have to go. And with this is probably the most important part of this section here is set a start date and an end date as well. And this is what you're going to do. Careful, because Facebook's trying to trick you and try to grab all your money. So today, obviously March 25th, right? Well, if I start this ad maybe at quarter to 10, careful, because they jump. You notice, like, it's not even March anymore, it's April, right? Your end date. I'm going to go back, and because we're the 25th, I'd probably run this for about 6-7 days or so, right? So probably till next Wednesday I would do. Okay, you notice my budget 76, but again, put this down to $5-6 if you want to. Run it for a few days at least, because after a few days, you'll know exactly if this is working for you or if it's not. Okay, now, this is what you're going to do. There's a little trick here, and I told you Facebook doesn't do a good job of distributing your ads. So this is what happens. And if you ever run ads, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You won't find too many articles on this. This is basically from trial and error. And after X thousands of dollars spent on this platform, I realized that they actually do a pretty crappy job of distributing your ads, right? So what I mean by that is you'll have insights, call them, or statistics numbers popping up for tomorrow morning saying like, hey, this is how many people actually clicked on your ad, right? What you'll notice is they never use the maximum of your budget when you start. So today, if this is running at, let's say this morning around 10 o'clock, quarter to 10, tomorrow morning, I'll get a ding on my phone or here in Facebook saying, hey, you spent this much. So you'll probably end up spending about $4 or $5 today, never the maximum $10, right? And that kind of continues on. So let's say tomorrow, oops, let me go back here. So tomorrow I'll end up spending, again, maybe $5-6. Friday, Saturday, same thing, $6-7. The problem happens here. About 24 to 48 hours before your ad is about to expire. So if I'm putting next Wednesday, April 1st, next Monday or Tuesday, you're going to see a sudden spike. If your budget is $10 a day, that's what, $7, $70, right? Facebook wants your $70, even though you don't seem to be using it every single day. They will get your $70, I guarantee you. So this is what they do. The last 24, 48 hours, they actually blast out your ad. If I spent time and money and energy to putting together all this in terms of who do I want to target, right? Where do I want to target those people? Areas, languages, audience, everything, then those are the people that I actually want, not just anybody and everybody. Okay, so what you're going to do with this is you're actually going to add 3 days to your ad. Okay, so if I want this to expire next Wednesday, 7 days, add 3 days to your expiry. Okay, so Saturday. So April the 4th. Now, what you don't want to forget to do is set a reminder on your phone or on your laptop, put a sticky note on your computer saying, you know what, next Wednesday, come in here and stop your ad manually. So this is what you're doing. You're actually tricking this system. Think of it this way. If I run up and down your street this afternoon with a bunch of newspapers and flyers, you're right, I go to every house and I just drop one newspaper, one flyer at the door, and I get to the very last house on your street. And I still have this whole stack of newspapers and flyers, etc. I'm just going to dump it at the last house. And that's kind of what Facebook is doing with your ad. So if you don't want that to happen, add 3 days always to your ad. But don't forget to come in here and set your or turn your ad off. Same place we started from. Go into ads, and then you can, or even ads manager up here. And there's a little button there that you can actually just turn your ad off, right? So you're not giving Facebook the chance to blast out your ad the last 24 or 48 hours. And not only that, but you'll end up spending less than your, because I told you they never use the maximum of your budget until the very last couple of days. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If not, then let me know later on and I'll try to kind of go through it as well too, right? But again, just a little trick here. Okay, I just wanted to check something here quickly. Like I said, they're always updating this platform. Languages, save this audience. Okay, that's fine. Oops. There's one section here that I kind of skipped over, and I just want to see something here, detailed targeting. Okay, let me just kind of zoom back. I'm sorry about that. I flipped over this section too. It's important. You don't have to put this, but I would. Again, if you're looking to squeeze every single penny out of this, your numbers might drop here a little bit, but again, you're looking at the right leads. Okay, so after you choose the addresses and the cities and buyers, right? Age, gender, I won't worry about. Detailed targeting here too. What you can do here is add a couple of different, actually not a couple, I'd probably add about a dozen, maybe half a dozen max, dozen or so different demographics as to who you're actually targeting. Now, this changed in the past few months as well, right? There used to be more detail in the US. If you ever run ads there, you'll notice you'll have a lot more options. But in terms of like who you're looking for in terms of leads, start with the word property. Okay, and you'll notice anybody who's actually interested in anything to do with property, as again, you're trying to get as close to somebody's front door, the right buyer, as possible. So anybody who has anything to, or interested in anything to do with property, or has liked pages on Facebook to do with property, has searched, you know, all this stuff is tracked too, right? Start with the word property. Then if you go suggestions as to, again, remember it's a condo, right, at Spears. So which one of these do you think would actually be would pertain to this type of buyer, potential buyer, right? Is a luxury condo, right? I'd go with house hunting. That's always a good one too, right? Real investments, depending on, again, what you're looking for. Starter home, is it a starter home? House, right? Real property. You can go condos as well. I know that's in there. I like to use these two mortgage calculators, right? Because if I'm looking to actually purchase a property, I mean, you know, you go onto those bank sites, you know, they're all linked up too, right? There's tracking and information and share on Facebook and all that. You see the links, share on Twitter. So that information is tracked. Don't ask me how, otherwise I'd be a millionaire. But mortgage calculator. So if I do go on, let's say TD, CIBC, RBC, any of these sites, and I'm looking at, that's tracked too, right? So they know that I'm maybe looking for first-time home buyer grant, perhaps, right? If I'm a first-time, if that's who you're actually targeting, right? Single family detached condominium is especially these ones are condos, but again, if it's a single family residential area too, right? So have a look and see. These are the top ones that I actually use. I used to actually use a couple of different ones too, but again, they've changed this, taken them off. So I'd stick with probably about anywhere from 6 to 12. Don't go crazy with this. Just keep your eye on this needle here on the right-hand side. But about 6 or so different, minimum 6 or so different interests in terms of who might actually purchase this property. Now, the other thing too, you'll notice there's a link here on the bottom, exclude people. Don't forget, again, to squeeze every single penny out of this platform, don't forget to exclude certain types of individuals as well, right? So who I would probably want to exclude, and this switched too, right? So let's say I would put in Remax. Don't exclude these. So whether Royal LePage, Remax, Coldwell, Keller Williams, doesn't matter where. You'll notice on the right-hand side here, it's actually interests, okay? And what I mean by that is here, let me just circle this. Give me 1 second here. There. Okay. Okay, so I know that's the worst circle you've ever seen, but pay attention here too, because again, you don't want to exclude these people interests. And again, that's anybody and everybody who's ever maybe liked a page. Maybe I have a friend who works for Remax and I've liked their page too, right? So you don't want to necessarily exclude that specific type of buyer. Okay, so careful about that. It's not interest that you're looking for here. It's actually anybody who works for that specific company or brand even, right? So let's start with this. And again, this changed. So real estate. What you're looking for is maybe excluding all your potential colleagues. I run a lot of ads in Hamilton or Hamilton, Oakville, Burlington as well, even towards Niagara. I guarantee you most of you will never see my ads, and this is the reason why, right? Or even if it's for another realtor. So just you're excluding. And what you're looking for here is job title. Okay, pay attention to that. Not interest, because again, anybody can, somebody might at some point have liked anything to do with property or property pages, or the company actually has a friend, they've liked the page, and suddenly you're excluding them. You're looking for anybody who actually has, like some of you as well. Like I work for example, Royal Page, Remax, Coldwell, whatever the case is. So in their actual description. So you're looking to exclude those people that have a job title of, either realtor, broker, real estate. So let's try another one. See if it actually comes up here. Employers, you can do that as well, right? Anybody who's employed by that specific company or brand. Real estate agent, broker, you'll notice here too, that's employer or job title. You can do both of these, right? So again, not interests, but the actual job title. So again, this used to be a lot broader in terms you can actually exclude a lot of the companies and brands too, but now I notice they've taken that off. So stick with this and go through a few of them. You can maybe put in about 4 or 5 of those, right? But again, you're trying to squeeze every single penny out of this platform, okay? So we have our audience, age, detailed targeting, about 6 to 12 of those, maybe 3 to 6 in terms of excluding. Languages won't worry about. Manual placements, we've checked that off as well, right? Facebook, scroll down, our budget, $10 a day. Okay, we'll reset our start date because again, that's already not 9:45. And again, careful, add 3 days to your ad. Just don't forget to come in here 3 days prior and turn your ad off. Okay, otherwise you'll be charged for the full. Okay, so let's continue. I hope you guys are getting a couple. You've been very quiet. I'm looking at the chat here on the right-hand side, and nobody's really mentioning anything to you. I hope you're taking it in. I hope you're still here, and I hope you're actually getting a couple of things out of this too, right? Okay, but it's the last section that actually is going to be the clincher for this too. So your real estate page, make sure, or your Facebook page, make sure that's Instagram. I'm not going to worry about because again, I'm not running Instagram ads. Now, you could, if you want to, carousel, you've seen those ads too, right? As you're you see the ad pop up and you have to scroll to the right to actually see the other, it's like mini websites, right? Sometimes there's 3, 4, 5 of them too. Again, who you're dealing with on Facebook, it's a unique audience. They're passive ads. People don't seem to have time even now. So I find it's just way too much information. So what I like to do is, again, either a video, a quick little video, or even a slideshow if you want to. You can create a quick little slideshow. But believe it or not, like one picture sometimes will do it for you as well. Okay, I'm just going to choose perhaps a picture from that I already have here. There, this one. Again, make sure the larger the photo, the better, because then it can actually crop it. But what you could do, and I'm not going to worry about it right now, but you could go in here and actually create a slideshow. Don't make this way too long. Again, it's short attention spans, right? You have maybe 2-3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. So you can add maybe 3, 4 pictures if you want to and turn it into a quick little slideshow. But believe it or not, you know what? I've had success with even just one picture if you want to. But again, nothing more than maybe a 5-second slideshow or a 5-second video. It's teaser. You don't want to give them all the information. Just a quick little video. And video sometimes will load a little bit slower too. So keep that in mind when it comes to, let's say, who's actually browsing. Especially now, internet's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we'll see how this actually goes. Okay, so picture, or like I said, slideshow if you want to. So we're going to scroll down. So this is why I'm not putting this on Instagram, is because of this text here. Okay, and again, the cool thing about this, they've updated this, is you'll actually see what this looks like on different platforms too when it comes to Facebook or where they're actually placing your ad. Make sure you're always in the mobile news feed here up at the top. Okay, or sorry, middle mobile news feed, right? Desktop, etc. Desktop is nice too, but again, where do you think most of people are going to be browsing from, right? Their mobile phones, probably over 85-90% of them. So you want to see what this actually looks like on a mobile device. Otherwise, you can create an ad for desktop. It'll give you way more more text, more space, etc. But that might get lost on mobile. It's going to look wonky. So for your teaser, this is what you're going to need. 3 different items, items of value, if you want to call them, or 3 different teasers in terms of what's going to grab what's great about this property, right? So Put a little bit of thought into this. You don't need way to remember those 4 ads that I showed you earlier on. You don't need way too much text. It's just a little bit of information. Okay, so what you want to do with this then is think of, well, what's great about this property? Okay, so spacious and concept living. Okay, comma dash there. Open concept. Okay, for this particular condo. Okay, that's line number 1. Line number 2, remember 3 lines max. What's great about it? Is it close to anything? Is it on a cul-de-sac, nice and quiet, friendly neighborhood? Sorry, can I walk to? Walk to beautiful. Again, this is just popping into my mind. Don't hate me for like maybe not put some thought into this too. But again, beautiful seems to be one of the top keywords when it comes to any social media platform. If you start looking at hashtags, right? So overused a little bit, but that's okay. So walk to beautiful Lake Ontario, and again, you can. It's like literally, I think, 8 minutes down to the lakeshore. And then, is it close to anything? Perhaps. Again, this is not where you put bedrooms and bathrooms. I can get that from the listing sheet, and you will send me that information eventually, right? This is more the feeling as to connecting with somebody, like what's great about this actual property. The emotional side of what you're trying to cater to here. So close to transit and shopping if you want to, right? I told you there's grocery and shoppers across the street, and there's 1 or 2 restaurants too. Okay, so that's it when it comes to this. Now, you want to highlight this because this is what your ad looks like here on the right-hand side. Nothing too sexy, nothing exciting, right? So this is what you would want to do. And let's see here. We'll just go to another website here. You can write this down if you wanted to. And somebody mentioned this, I think Said maybe mentioned this early on here on the webinar, is like emojis, right? Remember, there's way too many of them when it came to the emojis that were in some of those 4 ads that I showed you earlier on too. But to highlight at least, or to actually nicely space, apart from those boring dashes and bullet points, grab 1 or 2 emojis from here. And the one that I actually use, again, they've changed the color on it, which kind of upset me a little bit, but it's actually a check mark. So you can go to this site. It's free. It's called Emojipedia, right? You can actually click on, do a search for check marks. Okay, you can use the one with the button if, when the ones in the box if you want to. So just search for check mark on Emojipedia. It's like Wikipedia, but Emojipedia. You can jot that down. And scroll down here. So this is the one that I used to like. It's actually had the blue in it. And the cool thing about this site is it actually shows you like what these look like on different devices, which is kind of neat too. Okay, so on Facebook, it's this one. It used to be this nice little blue one, which highlighted the text really well, but now they've changed it to a white background, which is fine. It's still okay. I'm going to copy this. Don't use green, by the way, for some reason. And I know this, and I don't mean the green check mark. I mean this one here. If I go back 1 screen, for some reason, and I can't explain it, I used to run A/B testing. I don't know if you know what that is, right? A/B, you run the same ad at the same time, same audience, same everything, and all you do is you change one thing on it and see which one does better. Excuse me, it might be a little bit of text, it might be a color. I run ads that actually had the green check mark and the blue check mark at the time, and what's interesting is, you know what, one did 34% better than the other. I can't explain why. I know there's psychology involved. Again, you don't have to listen to me on that one. Choose whatever you like, but for stats or statistics sake, then the blue one actually did better. So, but which is now white background. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back here, and this is all you're going to do is just paste it in here. Okay, copy paste, and it's just going to highlight, separate the text really nicely. Just easy to read. That's all. Okay, looks a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there's my 3 kind of catering to the emotional side of this. And then what I'm going to do with this is add a little bit of text here on the bottom. So the headline, which is this here, connected messenger. Remember, nobody wants to talk to you, so get rid of that quickly. Okay, and this is what you're going to do. So this is your teaser. To view more pics, you can put photos, images, however you want. Just make sure the text is not cut off. To view more pics. And the price of this Just see if it fits of this home. I think we should be okay. If it gets cut off, then we'll change that a little bit. Then I'm going to go back here to Emojipedia, and I'm going to choose one more. It's almost like you have to direct people to go to where you actually want them to go. So this is what I'm going to do. It's pointing hand. So you have to point to the call to action as to where do you actually want people to. Careful about this one. Careful which one of these you choose because there's different fingers here. But hang on a sec. Pointing. Backhand pointing XX. So it's the index, sorry. So this is the one that you want. It's going to actually point to that call to action, which we'll put in just a minute. So cool thing about this, again, it'll show you what this actually looks like on different devices. Okay, so we're just going to copy this, go back to our ad, and we're going to paste it in here. And let's just see if this gets, oh, it does get cut off. Okay, to view more pics. And price, I might have to take this out. There you go. Okay. So that's why I said make sure you're in a mobile preview here and you want this. You don't want the ... because that's going to take away from this whole experience and not as many people are going to be clicking on it, right? So the reason why you're actually putting a hand here too is like, again, it's like you have to direct people to click on this, right? Show them where they're actually going. So in terms of call to action button, do you think this is good or not? Send message. Remember what I told you earlier on? Nobody wants to talk to you. Okay, so here, call to action on the bottom of your screen. You can choose contact us, get offer, learn more, shop now. There's nothing to buy here right now. Sign up. I don't want to sign up. I'm not going to give my information to anybody. So there's no offer, right? So learn more. It's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to direct people into Messenger, but it's kind of a different roundabout way of doing it, right? So have a look at this ad now and tell me, do you think it's a little bit better, right? If you really wanted to here, you can put it, leave a space, put a little bit of text to nothing, again, no phone numbers, no the contact me, none of that crap. Just this is for the viewer, for the user. Again, you're dealing with tire kickers. You want to give them information, right? You want to lure them in a little bit. So check out this beautiful condo. Located steps to Ontario. Anyway, and again, you can reword. This is probably not my best ad, really, but again, something along those lines too. But again, careful because you'll see more and all that kind of gets cut off too, right? So that's why I'm just going to work with my 3 bullet points for now. I'll leave this just again to show you what this actually looks like. Okay, does that make sense? So 3 bullet points, short, sweet, and again, to view more pics, you're telling people if they click here, this is what they're actually going to get. So you need to go set that up now. Okay, so scroll down to the bottom of your screen. And when people actually click on learn more, they're going to be directed to the chat. And again, this is Messenger chat. You still don't know who they are, even though they've clicked on this. So you need to set that up too. So I'm just going to quickly, for time's sake, use one, but this is what you're going to do. You're going to click on create chat, and you're going to create one that looks similar to this one here. Okay, I'm just going to edit it for you to see how this actually looks. So this is what you're going to do. When you click on, don't worry about all the other options there. This is a little bit too much. Bot, if you have a bot, but I don't think you have one right now, don't worry about that. What you're going to do is create chat, the bottom of your screen, text and image. I like it because it's consistent. Use the exact same image. This is what you're going to upload, the exact same image that you used in the ad. Remember, don't confuse people. Okay. And this is what you're going to put. Hi, Mike. Okay, and again, the mic actually comes from, so this is how you add it. When you start typing, you can actually add customer's name here. So here, let me show you like first name, so just first name. So that actually pulls automatically from their profile. So it looks like you already know them. So hi, Mike. Let me get rid of this. Again, careful with punctuation too. Everything, spaces. You want this to look not sloppy, but like you've actually put some effort into this. So hi, first name. So Mike, that's me. Please let, and again, it's not us, it's, I'm just going to update this. Please let, get rid of this. I have a better line for you. This is not, it's very generic. So hi, Mike. You're going to thank them first of all. Thanks for messaging me. Okay, do it as I can just I was typing it here. It's just a little bit slow. But you're going to put, hi, Mike, thanks for messaging me. Okay, and the reason why you're doing that is, again, technically you've just tricked them into Messenger, right? So you want to let them know that, hey, this is where you are. Thanks for messaging me. Can I send you the price and the pics of this lovely home? Okay, that's it. Give it a second too, just because it's a little bit slow. I told you, internet. Okay. So, hi, and then put first name coming from here, customer's name. Thanks for messaging me. And then reiterate again, just ask permission. Can I send you the price and the pics? This is the exact line that I use, and I use it over and over again, and it works really well. Like I said, you'll have some people that are like, oh, screw off, and you're not worried about those, and it's not going to be many of them. The majority of them will actually say, yes, please. And again, if you scroll down, the only thing you want to change here is you can put image title too, by the way, if you want to. So you can put the address one more time. Don't worry about subtitle. And really, you're going to, when the first time you actually create this, you'll have like different options here, buttons, and get rid of everything that you see here. The only thing you want is one quick reply, and forget about learn more. Just put yes, please. That's it. Okay, so really what you're doing is you're giving people a quick little option to actually click on this. Okay, so that's it. Here, just type that in. It's just running a little bit slow, sorry. Okay, that's it. And you'll notice that's right here on the right-hand side. So this is it. This is your, you can call it chat if you want to. So when somebody clicks on your ad, this is exactly what's going to pop up on their phone. You still don't know that they're actually there. Okay, makes sense? Okay, until they actually either reply to it with a no, screw off, or they just close it. You still won't know that you'll get charged for it, but that's okay. On average, I run my ads for about 25 bucks per day. But again, if you're running $10, you probably get anywhere, like I said, from 15 to 35, 40 per day with this type of ad, right? But again, you get charged, unfortunately, for people that actually close this, but that's okay because you'll get a whole handful of people who are actually saying yes, please. So this is where most realtors will screw it up. Okay, so use this exact text. Can I send you the price and the pics of this lovely home? There's no contact me and phone number there. Stop with that. You don't want that. And then you're giving them an option, yes, please. So save and finish. Okay, there it is. That's your chat. This is where most realtors are going to screw it up. Okay, so they're clicking on your ad. This pops up for the chat. So what do you think you're going to reply when somebody actually clicks on yes or says, sure, send me the price and the pics? I want you to think about that before you actually reply. So if your first instinct is, yeah, sure, here's my number, here's my email, you'll never hear from these people again. I will guarantee you that. You've just wasted probably anywhere from $1 to $2 every time you do that. So stop that. Again, mindset. Read the question. Read what you're promising them right up here at the top. Actually, hang on. Let me use this again. I know you're probably going to be like, what the hell is he doing? So with my slider here. Read this. Oh, this is like the worst circle ever. Anyway, don't hold that against me. So read that and tell me, what do you think you're going to send them? You're going to send them the price and the pics, right? You just promised them that. That's what you better be sending them. Okay, so when it comes to this actual, let me get rid of this. Clear. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so your very first message going back, and this is where you pull your car over if you're in your car, if you're at home, even better. Again, when your phone dings, it's only going to ding when somebody clicks on yes or actually says sure. Then the message pops up on your phone or on your computer, and then you need to reply quickly. So send them the actual link to what you just promised them. And there's 3 ways of actually doing that. So number 1, you can send them to your website. If you actually have the listing on your website, just make sure it's going to the actual page. Don't make me go looking for this actual property, because otherwise I'm gone. You have a couple seconds to grab my attention. You can send them to the actual, if it's your listing, then send them to, realtor.ca if you want to, or your company website and to the actual listing. Don't make me go looking for it. But what happens if this is not your listing, but you have permission to use it, right? You're hosting an open house for somebody else and you're getting leads. So go on to Treb or onto Matrix if you want to. And each board is a little bit different. But again, it's the same place where you actually print off your feature sheets, right? So when you're emailing yourself the client version, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, you guys will know better than I do. But if you're sending me the client version of the actual listing, send yourself a copy in an email, and then at least you have, or send yourself the link, right? I think it is a link. And then what you do is you grab that link and you're going to paste it in here, right? So the only verbiage that I actually use is the following, and if you want, you can write this down. I'm not going to type it right now, but again, thanks. When they actually click on yes or say sure, just say thanks. Thanks again for messaging me. Here's the link to the price and the pictures of this lovely home. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. No, contact me if you have any questions. Nothing. I'm going to repeat that once more. If you don't take anything else away from this workshop, this is what you're going to take away. Okay. When somebody clicks on sure or types in sure or yes, please. Thanks for messaging me. Sure. Once again, type that in. Thanks for messaging me. Here is the link to the price and pics. Or here, Mike, or here, if you really want to personalize it, is the link to the price and pics. That's it. Point. And then close your phone. Send it to them, obviously, and then click on send and then close your phone. I know that's hard. I know you want that, email me, and if you have any questions, no, stop it. Otherwise, you'll never hear from them again. Okay, so again, these are tire kickers. Send them the link and wait. Be patient. Wait about, maybe 12 hours or so. Wait till this evening if you're running these early afternoon. Wait till tomorrow morning and then follow up with them. Remember, one of the biggest things lacking is follow-up. Okay? So follow up with them afterwards within 24 hours and just ask them, hey, by the way, I'll show you another screenshot as to maybe the technique that I use, which works really well. And again, you're nurturing these leads probably for sometimes anywhere from 10 to 30 days. I told you, this is not today, tomorrow, but they are really good leads. Listen, if you're spending $100, $80, $150 even on these ads, for about a week or two, and you're getting about 91 leads, which on average, that's how much I get, then if you get one deal from this, would you not say that's worth it? I think so, right? But sometimes you'll get even 2 or 3, and then you still have a couple people down in your pipeline as well, right? So stay away from that. Email me and message me, etc. And I'll show you what I mean. So I hope that makes sense. That's your ad. Nothing. I told you, nothing exciting, right? Kind of like what Jim Rohn was. What I showed you earlier on too, that little motivational quote. That's it. Keep it simple, short, and I think I would probably take this out too, to be honest. Let me get rid of all this checkout, because again, the see more ... it just gets lost over here on the right hand side. So it's just 3 bullet points. Make sure they fit nicely, not too much text, just one line. Don't want it to flow over to the second line as well. Change your call to action to learn more and to view more photos. Or you can get rid of price too if you wanted, to be honest, to view more pics or photos of this lovely home. And then when they do set up Messenger here, create a new Messenger, get rid of all the other options that are on there. You'll see, sometimes you go to somebody's business page and it has all these, like, I like to learn more, yes, contact me, but get rid of all that crap, right? And create a new message, and this is all you want to put in that message. Hey, hi, Mike. So first name, thanks for messaging me. Can I send you the price and the pics of this lovely home? That's it. And then you're going to, if they click on yes, you're going to send them the price and the pics. So there's 3 different ways you can send it to them. Okay. I hope that makes sense. All right. Okay. So let me just go back to, so that's your ad. Okay. That's your moneymaker. Let me just go back to show you one example of what's going to happen. Okay, so back to this, we chose traffic, remember? So here's one interaction I kind of copy and pasted to, and this was from the realtor, one of the realtors that I work with. So this was the actual conversation on day 1. So her name, obviously Chantal, came from, remember, we put first name, right? Received your request. There's 3 leads. This was a townhouse in Grimsby, if I'm not mistaken. Did you have any specific questions? Have a wonderful day, right? So just wanted to see it for now. Thanks. That's it, right? So this, again, was a different type of ad slightly, but again, send them the link. And again, those people disappear sometimes, right? Maybe the holidays, maybe they're busy, who knows? Now I would think, I know it sounds bad, but it's probably not a bad time to, because everybody seems to be in front of their computer. So follow up, like I said, 24 hours, you don't have to wait 10 days, but this was kind of at the beginning of the year. So hope your year's off to a good start, right? Are you still looking to move? Didn't want to bother you. Can I set you up for received listings? So this is kind of more on the matrix system. Is something that would interest you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. You just follow up with them. I don't think this sounds pushy, does it? Right? There's no, like, you notice there's no, hey, here's my email. Nobody wants to call you. Not yet anyways. The cool thing about this is, look at this. Like, we're actually looking to, they're giving me a timeline, but they're also giving me a budget. So what happens is, if you remember that circle that I showed you, remember, hang on, you know what, let me see if I can kind of jump back. This one. So remember how I told you qualified was the second in that funnel? That's a qualified lead. When they start sharing information with you, you have their email address, you have maybe a phone number, not even a phone number, but you have, timeline and price, budget, you have a qualified lead. After that, you're going to start showing those people if you can get together with them properly. So that's day 10, but again, chalk this up as maybe 24 hours, because again, this was during the holidays. And then 19, again, they disappear. So follow up. Don't be any, this is just one. You're probably going to have 10, 15 of these, right? So it takes a bit of your day as well. So if you guys happen to see any other homes that would interest you, let me know. I'd be happy to have a wonderful, and again, at least she's right. So they're still in communication with you. They haven't disappeared. It's a good lead. She hasn't shown her husband's working very late, whatever the excuse is, right? And again, you follow up. By that time, this property actually sold, but hey, I got another one here that actually has, pick out some little teaser about that property, something. So, hey, you got to see this backyard, or you got to see what they did with this kitchen or something like that. And you know what? There's your email address. This is really what your golden egg, if you want to, I think that's the term, right? Golden goose, golden egg. That's what you're looking for. Okay, the email address, because from here on, now you can actually grab that email address, and what do you do with it? You can email them, but you can actually set them up on, what is it? Different systems call it different. I think Matrix, it's auto email. On Treb, I'm not sure what it's called, but something similar. You know how you get the new listings, etc., automatically in your email. So anyway, and you can actually see when they've opened up those emails. So that's what you do with this. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, but that's kind of the process too. And again, don't worry, you'll have one or two of those leads actually telling you to, screw off, or I didn't contact you, something like this, right? But that's fine. Don't worry about those. You know what I do with those, to be honest? I actually reply to them too. Don't get offended by them. It's like, some people just don't want to be bothered, right? Or you just trick them into Messenger. Reply with this. Write this down if you have a notepad and paper. This is what I do. I say, hi, Mike, or whatever their first name is. I look at their profile. No worries. Thanks for messaging me. By the way, if you know of anybody who might be interested in this property, feel free to contact, or feel free to let me know. Something along those lines too, right? So don't just say, okay, yeah, then screw off type of thing. Use those words, like something similar or something along those lines. Is, sorry, no worries. Didn't mean to bother you. By the way, if you know anybody who might, kind of like the Buffini. I don't know if you know Buffini. Something, hey, by the way. So same concept is, hey, by the way, if you know anybody who might be interested though in this property, let me know. That's kind of the verbiage that I use with that. Okay, so don't dismiss those. No, you'd be surprised. One of the realtors that I actually work with, she's out of Burlington. She actually got a couple of clients. So sometimes those no's, again, that's instinct, right, will become some of your best advocates, some of your best clients. Okay. Okay. So there's your day 1 to day 10. I know one or two of you were asking, like, do you have communication? Well, that is the communication. There's nothing in between here. It's just a matter, because it was holidays, I was waiting for, in terms of, or they were waiting probably about 9 days for the holidays to pass, in terms of, so you don't have to wait 10 days, right? Obviously now there's, what's the next holiday? Easter, right? You can even wish people happy Easter too. Thanks for messaging me type of thing. Okay. All right, there's one more strategy I want to show you. I know we're running a little late. By the way, pixels, yeah, I promised you that. Let me just show you this quickly, and if you have any questions too, I can direct you to the actual step-by-step on Facebook. You know, the easiest thing when you do is go to your business page, and same place we started from, go to ads, okay, and just type in pixel at the top, pixels. Okay, and the cool thing about this is it'll actually show you how to set up your, it's super easy, by the way. If you're wondering what on earth a pixel is, it's kind of like, it's Google Analytics. If you've ever kind of worked with Google Analytics, yes, no? Okay, so what it is basically it's a piece of code that you stick on your website. Now, the cool thing about this is a different strategy. And again, this might be another workshop later on, or if you guys attend live. I told you, if you're on this webinar, the next live workshop that I have, either at Toronto, it might be at the Don Valley Suites, or also in Hamilton at the Best Western. You're welcome. You have a free pass, so I hope you'll come live workshop. And then obviously I'm going to incorporate this as well too. So that's going to be a free event for you guys that are on this webinar. But in terms of pixels here, let me just show you quickly. So if you just type in pixel search, this is a piece of code that you're going to stick on your website. And you actually stick this, if you're not sure where, if somebody helps you with your website, then ask them, your developer. Or what you do is you actually go into the same place where you would put Google Analytics, Google code, right? In the background of your website, not on your actual page that people see, but this is kind of running in the background. And then if you go to set up pixel, it's super easy. What you do is it's like 3 clicks, and you don't need, you can have up to 100 pixels, but you need 1 pixel. Otherwise the numbers will start to get skewed, and the system will probably start giving you errors when pixels are overlapping and code is overlapping. So just 1 pixel, that's it. Okay, and then what you do is, forget about this one, it's just manually click on this, manually install, and it's already highlighted for you. Forget about all this stuff, advanced matching. That's like a little bit more advanced depending on what level you're at, but you can read up on that. All you do is, it even says here, copy code to clipboard. Take that, copy it. Just click on it, to be honest. There you go, copy. Okay. You can continue with this too, but then I would go into my website, into the background, and then I would paste that code there. Okay. So what happens is everybody who's coming to your website, if eventually you're getting traffic onto there, that's a different type of ad you can run as well. I'll show you one example. It's so that code is actually tracking everybody who's going to your website, and then you can run an ad for everybody, because it'll, instead of audience, remember where we put, I'll show you in just a second, but where we put actually age and all that, so you don't need all that. You're just going to use the pixel code as the actual audience. So anybody who's visited your website, obviously you need a bit of traffic, so it's not going to work if 10 people visit your website, but if you have hundreds, or you're running an ad saying, hey, check out this freaky listing, and they're all going to your website, then it will work really nicely. So this is one ad. It's actually 2 different versions of it, but it's one ad, or 2 ads if you want to, then that work really well. And I don't mind sharing this with you. I got permission from Krista. She's my wife too, by the way, FYI, in case you're wondering. So she's going to kick my ass for actually showing it. But no, I got permission for this. So I'll show you. These are 2 ads that work really well with the pixel. So first, install the pixel on your website. Okay, and then as it starts running in the background, these ads on Facebook, just different from the one we just did, right? But so this is actually generic. It's cool if you don't have listings, right? But you have some nice photos or even past listings, etc. Generic. Believe it or not, like these are 4 different, if you look on the bottom here, these are 4 different listings, or 5, I think, even if you're under 4. So there's just pictures from different listings. Don't steal pictures either, to get permission, right? But if you do have property or, office listings, you're allowed to use those. Take pictures from their teasers is what you want. And this obviously is from iStock. It's a generic photo that she bought. So this ad here on the left-hand side, you know what? If I can give you another kind of best piece of advice for this, and then we'll finish up quickly because I'm taking a lot of your time. This ad on the left works super well. You're going to see a hell of a lot of traffic from it. It's not necessarily leads directly, but it directs traffic to your website, where hopefully that page will actually have new listings. So if you know how to set up one of your pages in your website with, let's say, all the new office listings or all the new listings that come up on the board, all you need to do with this type of ad is update this date every single week. That's it. People love this. I can't explain why, but they just love it. Like this week, starting, hang on a sec. What are we, March 25, 24 to March 23rd. And then you can do this like next week as well, starting, what is it? March, crap. Well, anyway, you get the idea of it, right? I think it's March 29th, 30th. Yeah. So this week, and that's all you need to do, and you can run this ad, you know, $5 a day if you want to. So here's a preview of new listed homes, and people just seem to love to tire kick and browse. So that's all you're doing. You're not really asking too much, but again, it's you that's giving the information, and it's you that's in front of their face on their mobile devices. Okay, so this ad, this one works nicely too. So you have video too, but all that is really a slideshow of 4 pictures. Don't make these too long. You don't have a lot of time to grab somebody's attention. But I find either one of these, this one, the text on it works really nicely, and you can even kind of chop it down to your area or your region. Okay, then you're going to get people going then from here when they click on it to your website, and then from your website, that's where the code starts tracking, and then you can kind of go back and retarget them. That's kind of how that would work. Okay, just looking at a question here. Hang on, so Saeed said, do you set it up for each ad or once and it automatically falls? Well, they're different ads, right? So these would be 2 different ads that I'd be running, but I'd use this one here on the left-hand side or the one on the right. It works fine. And then if you want to generate leads, then you can run the other ad that I just showed you earlier on, right? So it's different strategies too. That's all. Right. The cool thing about this is, no, I use the same ad over and over again. You could, yeah, I know what you're saying. You can copy this, right? If you want to a different ad, depending on the metrics and the statistics, if you want to, that's probably what I would do. And the only thing I would do is change from July to every single. Yeah. So no, it's just 1 pixel. That's it. Don't have like, you can only have a maximum in terms of pixels. So somebody was asking, like, is it 1 pixel per ad? No, it's 1 pixel per ad, but it's 1 pixel. So when you do this ad again for next week and the week after, it's still going to be the same pixel. That's installed on your website. There's nothing you need to change with that. Okay, and the reason why is, like, I'll show you how you actually use that. Sorry, let me jump back then, kind of answer that question. In terms of the pixel here, hang on a sec. Okay, let me go back. Just quickly show you. Boom, 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 boom. So let me just quickly click on create. So it's the same place I started from, right? I'm just going to go back quickly. Let me close these. Close this. So let me just show you how you would use this, right? So you could go with kind of the same traffic, right? If you're trying to direct people to Messenger again, you could do that. You can go conversions as well, but I'd probably, here, let's stick with traffic or engagement. Okay, just this is from the pixel, so I don't want to confuse you too much, right? So scroll down, I'm not going to worry about the name. You can rename that to whatever you want. So this is how you use the pixel once it's installed. Give it time to, right? Give it at least a week or 2, depending on how much traffic. Like I said, it's not going to work if you have 10 people visiting your website. There is a minimum that Facebook actually requires. I think it's like 500-ish, right? So again, same thing. You could get people going to Messenger, those people that have already visited your website. Remember, this is after you're running that just the simple visual ad. Okay, what you're going to do here, instead of worrying about all this, the age and, you know, Canada and Mississauga and all that, forget about that. What you're going to do here is under custom audience up at the very top, create new, custom audience. Okay, and then what you're going to do is grab the pixel that's already running on your website. That's why you really only need one of them, right? Use your sources type of thing. So, oh God, custom audiences here. Let's cancel this for a second. Oops, create new, custom audience. Let's go website. Okay, and that's where the pixel is actually installed. So there's your custom. I got 2 of them running, but that's really, you wouldn't want more than 1 or 2. Just they're 2 different websites. That's why. Okay, but your custom pixel that's already been running for a couple of days or weeks, right? And then you can actually choose to narrow this down if you wanted to. So anybody who's visiting your website in general, people who've visited maybe that specific listing page, remember that you're directing people to, you could do that as well. Okay, and then all you would do is put in the actual www.mywebsite.com past maybe 15 days or so, something a little bit more narrow, right? So then you're running an ad. Anybody who's actually visited your website, they'll see your ad popping up. So you don't have to worry about all this if you're running an ad on Pixels. Remember, it's for Pixels. If you're ever running one of those types of ads, it's create new audience, create new, and then choose your pixel. Forget about all the other targeting then. And then you can, on the next page, you can actually run the ad, but it would be for something like this. Okay, does that make sense? So this gets people to your website, the pixel tracks them, and then you run another ad that actually will retarget them, right? And there's different strategies for that, or different types of ads for that one too. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. By the way, this is just a quick little FYI, and then I'll leave you guys finish up. I know you probably have things to do. I want to share a cool little recipe with you afterwards too. Not banana bread, don't worry. It's something to do with I went to the store yesterday, and there's obviously, if you've gone to the store in the past day or two, there's no disinfectants, nothing. Like anything that has the word disinfectant on it is cleaned or wiped out. So for most stores anyway. So I'll share something with you afterwards. So anyway, this is another ad too that a couple of realtors that I work with use. So Hamilton, right? Crown Point near Gage Park, for example. So if you know, your strategy when the weather is a little bit better and things kind of blow over after all this, you're out and you're actually, you know, canvassing at a specific neighborhood, Lakeshore, wherever the case is. So that little red dot is actually the ad. Remember how we chose an area earlier on within, like, let's say 1 kilometer of a specific address. So let's say you're walking a couple of streets and you have postcards and, you know, you're canvassing or door hangers, whatever the case is. This is another strategy that you can use. I thought you might benefit from it. So drop those postcards in, you know, door hangers, whatever the case is, on those few streets, then come back, wait probably about, you know, 3-4 days or so, and then you can run an ad that targets just this. So remember, like, doesn't have to be a traffic ad. It could be just remember the very first one? Here, let me go back. This one. Oops. So awareness here on the left-hand side, that's maybe how you can run that. So brand awareness is just a, hey, FYI, here I am. It's kind of like your postcard, right? So not traffic. So you can do that. Drop your postcards or door hangers into people's mailboxes, and that's specifically come back, retarget this in about 3-4 days with just a, hey, you know, FYI ad, or hey, here's a listing in your area type of thing, just to get your face in front of people, especially if you're kind of looking to build up your network or, you know, people leads in your face in this specific area. It actually works nicely too, because you're in their mailbox and then 3 days later you're actually on their phones as well. And you can remember, it's usually 4 to 6 touch points when it comes to marketing, and people need to remember you. That's why I never understood, why do some realtors spend money on bench backs and bus stops? And it's not so much, hey, like, there she goes on the bus side of the bus, oh yeah, so I need to sell my house. That's not going to work. But when you keep seeing the same person over and over again, this is a really inexpensive way to do it as well, right? Print off some postcards from Vistaprint if you want to for like $20, and then you can run an ad for $5 a day to just get your face out into that specific circle or area. Okay, so hopefully we'll give you some tips as well. But again, the very last thing I'll show you, one of the last things is, you know, how do you know what's working for you and what's not? So the ad that I just showed you, the one with 3 check marks or bullet points if you want to, and the lead generation ad, and if you follow it exactly and almost word for word, it will usually guarantee you anywhere from 91 to 150 leads. Now, the thing is, like, not all of them will be, let me just jump back here, not all of them are going to be, hey, yeah, send me more information. You're going to get people like this, right? I didn't contact you, or screw off, or you'll just get people closing the ad. You still get charged for it, but you'll never know who they are. Because if they click on it, you get charged for it. Remember, we chose link clicks, okay? So you'll get charged for that one, but there won't be too many of them. And again, the ones that actually do reply are really, they're good leads, right? As long as you don't mess it up with, hey, here's my phone number, or here's my email address. So anywhere from about 91 leads, but again, I run those at $25 a day. But again, start with small, right? Run it for a few days and see. Again, if you're not getting leads or the people like responding to you within, let's say, a day or 2, 3 days, even, then you know something's wrong, right? Email me and show me what you're doing, and then I'll try to figure that out for you. Okay. But how do you know what's working for you and what's not, right? Track it. And your office has done this. I know your office has, I've done workshops on this as well too. Right? So think of it this way, even at an open house, for example, right? if you get 100 leads, take an easy number coming through, let's say an open house on a really busy weekend, right? And you get, let's say, X amount of clients. Let's say you get 2 clients from 100 leads, whether it's online or open house, or what's the conversion rate for that? So what's 2 divided by 100? Anyone? Anyone? What percentage is that? If you want, type it in the chat. Well, good. At least 2 people say, hey, 2%. So 2%, remember what I told you in terms of what the average conversion rate is? Do you remember what it was? It was 0.5 to 1%. So if you're doing 2%, you're doing way better than the average. If you're getting 3, 4 clients from 100 leads, whether that's 50 online and 50 from a, walking a neighborhood or open house, 4%, you're doing way better than the industry average. So don't think that, and those that are doing really well, obviously anywhere from 10 to 14%. So just track it, see how you're actually doing with this, right? At the end of the month or even at the end of the week. Just see, like, is this actually worth it? Am I doing a good job of it? Okay, so just to quickly wrap it up. So next steps, I can't hammer this away at you enough. Forget about, contact me and here's my email address. It will take at least 4 or 5 different messages back and forth sometimes, or even emails before you get to that stage. But make sure you get that. If you want, one best piece of advice I can give you in this webinar is get back to people quickly. Your colleagues are not, what I'm talking about, especially when you're trying to book showings. They're not replying to you right away. Sometimes maybe it's like next day, whenever and the ones that actually do get back to you is like, hey, you remember the next time you try to book a showing with that brokerage or that agency or that realtor, that person like responds all the time, right? So get back to them quickly, minutes, I'm saying, and if you can, even seconds, right? Especially now, if you are at home, stuck at home like most of us, then that shouldn't be an issue. Follow up with them. Don't just think like because they disappeared, they don't want to talk to you. I'm not saying hound them, but especially these leads, but get back to them. Most realtors will not. Again, if you're wondering what's going to set yourself apart, that's going to be a big thing too, right? Saying, hey, did you get a chance to look at this? Or, hey, by the way, here's another link. And by the way, that's another strategy I forgot to mention. If nobody gets back to you within, after your second communication in messaging, so you've sent them the link to your website or to the actual listing, whether it's on Treb or Matrix, you don't hear from them again, send them something else, right? It's a strategy I call give, get, give. If you want, write that down if you're still here and if you have a if you haven't tuned out from my monotone voice. Give, get, give. It's the best strategy you can use for any business. Give them information. Maybe you'll get a little bit of information back from them, right? And then give them something else they weren't expecting. It could be the taxes, the square footage, the neighborhood, something up and coming, something. Give them a little bit of information. That's how you're actually going to build trust with these leads that want nothing to do with you initially. Okay, give, get, give. Probably the second best piece of advice I can give you. Obviously, commit a little bit of time every so you're here. You spent time this morning with me, so I thank you for that. You've committed time, obviously, to professional development, but also commit time to what you're actually doing when it comes to marketing. Don't just run around like chicken without a head type of thing. So track your success. And again, conversion rates, that's super simple, right? Here, all you need to do, number of clients, number of leads, equal conversion rate. Hey, I want to share this with you. I know this has like nothing to do with our workshop, but I figured, hey, if you go to the store and you're looking for your families or anything, hell, why don't you put this up too as maybe a post? It doesn't have to be an ad, but if you want to share something on your social media, right? Give people something. This is super easy, and you can look this up too, right? In terms of disinfectant, vinegar, lemons. Actually, if you have lemons at home, it works super well. So, what is it? Half a cup of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, 1 liter of hot water, and half a lemon, but you can put like a whole lemon in there, right? Kind of let it brew and let it cool down, and then you kind of take the lemon out and then you put it in a spray bottle. So I didn't realize lemons actually had natural disinfectant properties, but hey, I digress. So that's kind of your, hey, what the hell does this have to do with Facebook? Nothing, but you can still post this and give people something a little bit more value, right? I hope you got at least one thing out of this. Remember at the beginning of the workshop, I asked you like, what did you come for? And I hope I was able to answer your question, right? Yes. Thanks for, again, I went a little bit over. Thanks for, bearing with me. And I hope you did get some value out of this workshop. Stay healthy, and I hope your families are all healthy, and I hope you're doing well, and we'll stick it out. We'll get through this probably the next few weeks too, and hopefully everything will slowly get back to normal. And thanks again for attending.